Check, check, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Recording purposes. If I can get your name, please, and the name of the new series.
Jessica Lucas and the Murders.
Fantastic. Let's stop this. Thank you so much for making time to do this interview with me, because as we speak, something special is going to be happening coming up in just a few days on Monday. A new series, I do believe.
Yes. Yeah, I'm the lead of a new TV show called The Murders. It airs on Citytv this Monday at 9.
I've been lucky enough to get a chance to see the first episode, and I do not want to give a lot away. Mm-hmm. But oh my goodness, there are so many layers to this.
Right.
I'll say this. 1 minute you're thinking one thing, the next thing you're thinking something else, and then you're going down this other road and you realize, oh my God, there's another road coming to, and you're not even sure if you're going to lead back to this one. A lot of layers on this. How does it feel, not just starring, but being executive producer on something that is a mind, and I'll leave the rest of the word out.
Right. It feels really good. I mean, that's what we want people to feel. I mean, I think the show hooks you right from the first episode. There's a lot of twists and turns that you don't see coming. But at the same time, it's a procedural. So there's a case of the week element to it. We're solving a murder every single week. And I play a detective. Her name's Kate Jameson. And she makes a huge mistake in the very first episode. She leaves her gun in her car, which ends up having dire consequences. And she ends up having to redeem herself and deal with the fallout of the mistake she makes for the rest of the show.
And part of that, though, too, is having to deal with her coworkers who... they're rough on her on this.
Yeah, well, part of the reason for that is because her father was also a detective on the same squad. Mm-hmm. People loved him. He was killed in the line of duty a few years ago, and she's really trying to fill his shoes, but a lot of people think that she's there, because of him, and that it's all due to nepotism, and she doesn't actually deserve to be there. So she's constantly having to prove herself in that regard as well.
Now, speaking of proving themselves, your co-star, who plays Mike, I do believe, what is his name?
Lachlan Monroe, Canadian treasure.
People know him usually for the funny comic stuff that he does. Yeah. It took me almost like 40 minutes into this to realize, oh my God, it's him.
Right.
He is excellent playing this type of character. How did you guys figure it out, or who figured out that he would be right for this part?
He'll love that you said that, by the way. I think that was Damon or the casting director, Tiffany Mack. They wanted a recognizable Canadian face that Canadian audiences would recognize, and it was important for the viewers to feel attached to him right from the get-go. So he does a really great job at that, I think.
But that's the funny part. You don't recognize him until literally certain things happen, and then you're going, oh my goodness, it's that guy,
right.
Excellent job. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. How do you guys, working together? I mean, you guys seem to have a real great chemistry right off the top.
We didn't know. I mean, I did some chemistry reads with some of the other cast, but Lachlan was not one of them. He's just really easy to get along with. He's a really likable, charismatic, personable guy, and we needed to really have that sort of almost like a father-daughter bond, or where it feels like we've known each other for many years right from the get-go, and it was easy for us. We just dove right into it.
How do you feel your character now is going to play in this television history? Because when you think back to Policewoman and you think back to Cagney and Lacey, they broke trends for their episodes. When I watch their shows, when I watch yours, I think to myself, whether it be a male or female role, this is the first time where somebody in this type of authority is vulnerable every time they look or open their mouth or end up somewhere.
I think that's really important. I think that more and more we're seeing on television these flawed female characters who are strong on the outside, but might be dealing with some personal issues as well. And I think that those characters are always much more relatable. So I think that Kate has a whole bunch of different layers that people are going to really love.
Another layer to this. Back in the day, I was a big fan of Miami Vice, and Jan Hammer, I think that was his name, and not just the popular music in the series, but he used to the all this stuff. there are scenes where if people really get into it, they realize that the music that's being played in the background becomes its own character in helping lead you through the stories. Give me your thoughts on this.
Yeah, music is a big part of our show. We do a lot of covers of classic songs, and Damon, our creator, is a huge music fan, and so he wanted to really incorporate an element that you might not be aware of unless you're really paying attention. But a lot of the songs that are used in the episodes directly relate to the case that we are solving that week.
Just curious, is there a song that maybe you would love to somehow sink into one of these episodes, do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I really like the ones that we have. We cover Long Black Veil in the very first episode, and it's a gospel version of it, which I think is really cool. We also are toying with the fact that every season is a new. We're dealing with one of the different senses. So this year's sound, but next year will be touch. So I don't think we're going to continue the music element of it, but
Yes. I'm demanding. I'm going to start writing in now. We want more music.
Okay,
As a music reporter, I like that too. So we want more music.
Right.
Another thing that I really enjoyed was the fact that diversity rules in this, but it's not thrown in your face. It's what is sitting outside your window.
I know that was really important to us, and we really wanted to make sure the cast felt as diverse as possible, and also reflected what it's like to live in Canada. I mean, I think that this is an incredibly diverse country, and we really embrace people from all heritages and cultures, and that's really reflected on our show. I mean, I would say the casting was mostly colorblind.
Absolutely. One other thing I want to point out, though, is I know this is supposed to be a crime story. It's supposed to, there's action, intrigue, and everything else. But I think when you take the layers away, it's a mystery. And it's a mystery that needs to be solved. That's something I think we have lost in a lot of, and not knocking other series but it's just like this grit and everything else. This one really does go back to, there's a mystery, it needs to be solved.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like it kind of harkens back to some of those older procedurals, like the CSIs and the Law and Orders in the early days, and even before that. And I think the thing that makes our show unique too is our cases every single week are very different. Like they're really interesting, and like nothing else I've ever seen on TV before. But then there's like the overarching arc of what's going on with Kate and wanting to follow that mystery. Like there's a case in the first episode and it comes back again in the end, so that you follow that, but then at the same time the viewers can try and solve the new case every week.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. There you go. Wow, you know what? This is going to be a great year and a great season. Cannot wait for this, especially because you gave us a little hint on what next season is going to be like. This is going to be fun. Look, I want to say congratulations. Oh, and I forgot to make mention too, Vancouver is where we're filming this, and that's home for you.
Yeah, it is. It was really special for me to be able to shoot a TV series in my hometown and be so close to my parents and some of my friends that I grew up with. And I think it's the most beautiful city in the world. I mean, I'm a bit biased, but and we really showcase the beauty of the city in the show as well. We celebrate that we're shooting in Vancouver.
Hey, love Vancouver, but Toronto still for me. Gotta give my props up to Toronto.
I think we're enemies now.
No, we can't be, because there's no such thing as enemies. And when it comes to Canadians, we are all family. Look, congratulations on this new season. Cannot wait now to see the rest of the episodes and to figure out how you guys are pulling out season 2. This is fantastic. Let's do this again so we can talk about season 2.
Sounds good. You have to tune in to watch so we can have a season 2.
And one more time, when is it on?
Mondays at 9 on Citytv.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.